Coming up, U.S. Tzu Chi volunteers hold aid distributions for earthquake survivors in Napa, California. We get an in-depth look at the award-winning and character-building Tainan Tzu Chi Senior High School. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Mary Lee. Thank you for joining us. In the United States, a magnitude 6.0 earthquake struck Northern California's Napa at 3:20 a.m. on August 24th, causing hundreds of casualties and many buildings to collapse. To help those affected by the tremor, Tzu Chi partnered with the local Red Cross to hold two distributions.
A 6.0 magnitude earthquake struck Northern California's Napa City in the early hours of August 24th, sending frightened residents fleeing from their homes. Immediately following the quake, Tzu Chi volunteers in Northern California teamed up with the local Red Cross. After conducting a disaster assessment, the two organizations decided to carry out a two-day distribution.
I was on the third floor of my apartment building, and in a matter of 2 to 3 seconds, I heard everything breaking in my house. My dresser toppled over and it was hard to get to the door.
Recollecting the horrors of that evening stirred up distressing and painful memories for the residents. Tzu Chi volunteers not only take on the role of a good listener, but provide a shoulder for these survivors to cry on. A letter of condolence conveys the love and care of Master Zheng Yun. Such empathy and compassion deeply moved many of the local residents.
The letter touched my heart, made me feel cared for and warm inside. And I know that there is love out there and it's coming through people like you and that letter. It touched my heart and it'll always be in there. Thank you.
So I want to say thank you on behalf of me and the entire community and all the people that you're helping, because you've been here from day one and you've just been doing everything you can and giving a lot of moral support, and the community is grateful. I know I certainly am grateful, and I just want to thank you so much.
Thank you.
Love you. Take care. Have a great day.
Volunteers distributed debit cards, Tzu Chi's instant rice and bamboo coin banks to 111 families, as they hope to be their pillar of support in these difficult times.
Yeah, you're welcome. God bless you.
Thank you.
Okay.
In 2005, Tzu Chi built DaAi Second Village in Jakarta, Indonesia, to give impoverished residents living along the Angke River a safe place to call home. Although years have gone by, the volunteers' love and care for these residents has continued. Recently, Tzu Chi volunteers revisited the village with rice from Taiwan.
20-kilogram bags of rice lay neatly stacked together in the plaza at the DaAi Second Village in Jakarta, Indonesia. Despite the early morning hours, seniors wait happily for their turn to receive their bag of rice.
These bags of rice are loved from Taiwan. By distributing these bags of rice, we hope to create good affinity with the residents of the DaAi Second Village.
The DaAi Second Village in Indonesia is located near the estuary of Angke River. The village was built to help needy residents who used to live in illegal buildings along the river. Among the recipients of Tzu Chi's kindness is 63-year-old Nadira, who makes a living by selling daily sundries.
Terima kasih.
I am very thankful to all the volunteers from the Tzu Chi Foundation. They come here to visit us on a regular basis and even give us rice. I am extremely thankful for that.
This is Kasira, who thanks to Tzu Chi, was able to undergo elephantiasis surgery and become a resident of the DaAi Second Village. Recently, with her illness reappeared, the volunteers decided to lend a hand once again.
Thank you, Tzu Chi Foundation, for giving me this bag of rice. With Tzu Chi's help, I was able to receive treatment for my elephantitis. Currently, I am still receiving help from the Buddhist NGO. Thanks to Tzu Chi, I will be able to undergo another operation soon.
We have a lot of new volunteers, so we use this rice distribution to help them gain a better understanding of Tzu Chi. We hope to inspire even more people to join our ranks.
With a safe place to call home and volunteers by their side, these residents who used to live along the Angke River have decided to help those in greater need as a way to reciprocate Tzu Chi's kindness.
In Indonesia, in the wake of the Angke River's flooding in 2002, the Tzu Chi Foundation carried out a major project to clean up the river. Recently, a local Muslim group, the Yasmina Foundation, paid a visit to a Tzu Chi recycling station in Sengkaren, DaAi village, with the intention of learning more about Tzu Chi's conservation practices.
Indonesia has long been plagued by garbage problems. The Muslim group Yasmina Foundation believes that advocating environmental protection is the key to solving this problem.
Our foundation is responsible for teaching the public about environmental conservation. We have schools to facilitate that effort. We are here today to learn more about recycling.
With members of the Yasmina Foundation as their guests, volunteers at Cengkarong's DaAi village first give a short introduction before leading their guests out to see recycling in action.
I want to recycle cans and bottles in my neighborhood where most of the houses are rented. I want to help out and recycle plastic bottles.
Ya, saya sangat terkesan. Pertama bahwa ternyata perubahan yang paling mudah adalah.
I am impressed with what I heard today. First, education regarding environmental conservation should start early, as children usually learn faster. Second, volunteers can categorize waste to kickstart the effort. Third, we should really model our work after Tzu Chi's environmental efforts.
Kegiatan pelestarian lingkungan sendiri yang sudah berjalan di sini dengan baik ya, saya pikir ini menjadi hal yang patut kita contoh.
With Tzu Chi's help and the support of other concerned parties, the garbage problem in Indonesia's cities may one day be overcome.
Next, we take a look at an organ donor, Mr. Lin from Taiwan's Jiayi, who was left in a coma due to intracranial bleeding from a car accident. Knowing Mr. Lin's wish to donate his organs to save lives, Mr. Lin's family selflessly helped him fulfill that aspiration. Due to an auto accident, Mr. Lin suffers intracranial bleeding. With a Glasgow Coma Scale score of 3, his family decided to help him fulfill his wish of donating his organs. As if hearing the encouragement from everyone, Mr. Lin's blood pressure stabilized, allowing him to make the donation. 2 months ago, Mr. Lin had just returned to Jiayi from Taipei to care for his sick father when he had the accident. His family decided to donate his bones and skin.
Before, when he was still conscious, he kept on telling us that should anything happen to him, don't resuscitate him, but to donate all his organs to help others.
For skin donations, we removed only a thin layer, using the second to the last procedure. Then we extracted his bones, after which we inserted rods to replace what we took out. This way the whole body stayed intact as if nothing had been done.
Besides donating his bones and skin, Mr. Lin is also donating his heart and kidneys. By fulfilling his wish, Mr. Lin's spirit will live on in others. In today's 15th anniversary of the 921 earthquake series, we head towards the epicenter of the quake, Jiufen Mountain in Nantou. The quake completely transformed the mountain as some 30 million cubic meters worth of earth was completely shifted. As a result, 2 barrier lakes were formed, which have become vital water sources for local residents.
天摇921，地动147。
The force of the tremor sent me flying over there, where I became trapped.
Another day begins and Zhu Zhongcun is once again sharing the tale of that fateful night.
After the quake, people started to visit here, so I've been guarding this place.
Zhu's home was at the epicenter of the quake. He says the transformation here is worth remembering. Though he has never been properly trained, Zhu tells the story of what happened here better than anyone else.
I want to tell others the facts of the disaster, so they will not be misled by what had happened here. It used to look like this. I lived here, and the sloping home was here.
The tremor destroyed Zhu's home and changed his family's life forever. The Zhu family used to be farmers but lost their farmland to the quake. After the Soil and Water Conservation Bureau appropriated their land and turned it into a memorial park, the Zhus decided to stay on and become guides.
Before we made our living off the mountain, we weren't businessmen. Without the public support, we wouldn't be here today.
The two barrier lakes formed after the quake are now an important water source for the region.
这个水资源
When we have a drought and have no water to use, we turn to the two barrier lakes. We also hope to change what we grow here to help the land recuperate.
Nearly 200 hectares of the Jiufen mountain shifted completely and slid down 1,000 meters in an instant. Survivors were awoken to the importance of soil and water conservation.
那东西弄槟榔。
At the time, the whole mountain was full of betel nut trees. It yielded the highest return and was called green gold.
Wu made a fortune growing betel nut, but realized after the quake that he was in fact hurting the land.
I started growing these after the 9/21 earthquake. Taiwan incense cedars line up this path.
Wu cut down his 7 hectares of betel nut forest and began growing saplings just 30 centimeters tall. 15 years later, his saplings have all grown up.
Now I don't have to worry even when it rains hard. It won't trigger landslide like it used to when betel nut was planted. With these trees, you can see the whole mountain is simply beautiful.
About 100,000 tons of water is lost per year per 1 hectare of betel nut farm. Studies showed the nation had at least 45,000 hectares of betel nut farm in 1994, which meant at least 4.5 billion tons of water was lost.
The roots of a betel nut tree only reach down about 3 to 90 centimeters below the surface. The tree has a fibrous root system, so the roots will be denser near the surface. Some scholars believe this type of root system will prevent rainwaters from being absorbed and therefore easily lend to landslides on slopes.
Forest restoration will certainly help soil and water conservation, though it was a costly lesson. But hopefully Taiwan citizens are now more aware and better prepared.
In Taiwan, the Tainan Tzu Chi Senior High School was established some 8 years ago with the goal of providing youngsters with a friendly learning environment. Besides helping students strive for good grades, the school also inspires them to develop a well-rounded character. Recently, the school received recognition from the Ministry of Education for its years of good work.
Students dance alone to the beat of the music here at the Tainan Tzu Chi Senior High School. With the school focusing on helping students develop a rounded character, many transfer students say the school is different compared to others.
I used to compete a lot with my classmates, but here everyone shares their knowledge with each other and even offers words of encouragement.
As the school requires students to wear uniforms and follow certain etiquette, students thought they would feel restricted. However, many later realized that these rules have changed them for the better.
There are a lot of rules that we have to follow, but our bond with our fellow classmates and teachers has become stronger. We understand each other very well because we face the same problems.
Prior to the establishment at the Tainan Tzu Chi Senior High School, faculty members had already set the goal of offering a friendly learning environment for students.
The ultimate goal of establishing the school is to immerse students in Tzu Chi's humanistic values, while providing them with a place where they can grow up healthy, both physically and mentally.
To help students grow up healthy, besides launching a reading club to help strengthen parent-child bonds, teachers also paired up with students to offer guidance wherever needed.
When students encounter a problem and don't know what to do, teachers will always be there to offer guidance and assistance.
Teachers serve as a bridge between parents and students. They can help parents deal with their children's changes in behavior due to puberty.
Furthermore, a coming-of-age ceremony is held each year where students go on a bike trip to discover their potential and reflect on themselves.
When students are riding their bicycles, they will ask themselves what the purpose of the trip is and why they have to finish it. It also teaches them how to be strong and overcome difficulties.
It seems like we are taking care of babies. We have to guide them every step of the way and help them overcome obstacles.
Recently, after 8 years of effort, the Tainan Tzu Chi Senior High School received recognition from the Ministry of Education for its character education, community service, environmental education, health education, educational excellence, and friendly learning environment.
As students make their way back to school, the elementary division of Tzu Chi Senior High School, affiliated with Tzu Chi University in Hualien, also welcomed in a new batch of first graders. To help the younger students adapt to their new environment, the sixth graders of the school used their own free time to visit the new students and passed on a few tips. Sixth graders of the elementary division of Tzu Chi Senior High School, affiliated with Tzu Chi University, take some time to assist first graders in their new school.
When we are older, we need to serve food to others too, and I won't know how to do that. So the older brother taught me ways to serve food.
The sixth graders also pass on some tips on how to keep their campus clean.
We want the first graders to understand how to clean up their own classroom, so we are teaching them how to mop the floor. We are like temporary sanitation leaders.
Patiently explaining each detail, this sixth grader holds nothing back when mentoring the new students.
The older students serve as a mentor for the first graders. This is something that is unique to our school. We hope when students enter our elementary school, they can fully incorporate themselves in our ideals and then hold themselves to the same standards.
Passing on Tzu Chi's humanitarianism at an early age, the older students take time to help younger students adapt to their new school and become a member of the Tzu Chi family in no time. In Taiwan, a series of food safety scandals since 2013 has not only hurt consumer confidence, but have left the Taiwanese wondering just what is safe to eat. Since eating right is essential to keeping a healthy lifestyle, in our next report, we show you some tips on how to grow your own vegetables in the comfort of your own home.
A table full of fresh vegetables. Did you know you can also grow your own vegetables in the comfort of your own home? With some soil, fertilizer, a watering can, containers, a shovel, and some seeds, you too can practice urban agriculture.
Using a ratio of 9:1, place the soil and organic fertilizer into the flower pot to about 80% full. Then plant the seeds into the soil. After 1 week, keep the strongest seedling and pull out the rest. Water your plant 1 to 2 times a day. After about a month, these vegetables will be ready for harvest.
To start out, try growing vegetables such as sweet potato leaves, bok choy, tomatoes, and bell peppers. Considered among the easiest vegetables to grow, they are rich in nutrients as well.
Bok choy is loaded with fiber which binds together with bile acids that ultimately lowers the cholesterol in our body. Furthermore, the vegetable contains many vital B-complex vitamins, such as pantothenic acid and B6, which is also good for relieving stress and anxiety.
Placing a net over the plants can protect it from insects, or alternatively, spraying the plant with water that has some chili peppers added to it can also help keep pests away.
Chili peppers contain a substance called capsaicin, which stimulates our taste buds, increases appetite, and aids digestion. However, elderly people or those who enjoy heavier spices should reduce their salt intake when eating food containing chili peppers.
These simple techniques make it possible for the general public to practice urban agriculture in the comfort of their own home. Also, we can rest easy knowing that these homegrown vegetables are definitely fresh and safe to eat.
Dialysis patients need to be very careful of what they eat. So can they opt for a meatless diet if they want? We hear from an expert on how dialysis patients can in fact become a vegetarian.
Come lunchtime, Miss Peng looks for a place to eat. As one who requires peritoneal dialysis, she has to be careful of what she eats. Miss Peng has to cut back on fried food, and so she chooses to eat more vegetables and tofu to counteract the high calcium and phosphor found in her blood and stay healthy.
I feel less heavy when I eat like this, but I need to exercise as well.
To stay healthy, Miss Peng turns to vegetables. In the eyes of dietitians, dialysis patients, especially those that require hemodialysis, need to be very careful of what they eat.
They need to watch their phosphor and potassium intake.
Dietitians recommend that since hemodialysis patients get their treatment once every 2 days, soy-based food can provide calories and proteins, but they need to eat in moderation. All vegetables should be boiled to wash away the potassium. By minimizing oil and salt, they will lessen the burden on their heart. At the end of their meal, they must remember to take their medication.
All food will have potassium, so they need to take calcium to lower the potassium. It's called chelate.
By following the recommendation and monitoring their health regularly, a dialysis patient can become a vegetarian as well.
In China, Tzu Chi volunteers of福鼎, Fujian held a get-together to invite more residents to join the charity's environmental mission. Veteran recycling volunteers also spoke on their transformation since taking on Tzu Chi's work.
In China, Tzu Chi community get-together in福鼎, Fujian is drawing many people with its short skit on recycling. A 7-year recycling veteran also shared the health benefits of doing Tzu Chi's work.
To have good health is a blessing in itself. Even if you have money, if you're seriously ill, can you buy back your health? No, you can't. So the only thing to do is to do Tzu Chi's work, wholeheartedly, devoting yourself completely. I thought I would die doing Tzu Chi's work to the end, but instead, I'm livelier than before.
Though a person alone is limited in strength, together, a whole community will be able to change its environment.
Things have really progressed at the Meishi village. At first, there were 2 or 3 people, but now there are a lot more. In both Zhenping and Meishi villages, many residents have been inspired by our seminar and have taken action, which makes me very happy.
The get-together help gather good thoughts and intentions and shall inspire more people to take action.
In the aftermath of the recent Yonghe fire in New Taipei City, Tzu Chi volunteers returned to the region on the 18th to offer comfort and peace charms to those distraught by the disaster. It is hoped these kind gestures will help residents find peace of mind. We will leave you with these images at the end of the show. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.